right, guys, there is a lot going on in the RWBY Volume 8 universe with Salem and trying to figure out what to do about Ironwood. But the one thing I want to know is, who do I need to talk to at Rooster Teeth to finally get rid of Harriet? Hey guys, my name is Maria Park, and this is Approach the Nerd. And in this episode, we are reviewing RWBY Volume 8, Episode 11, entitled Risk. And so many characters are taking risks in this episode this week. So a very appropriate title. So I love that we are coming off the last episode where we have Ironwood, who's threatened Mantle. He's going to destroy it if they don't give him Penny within an hour. So this is our situation or where we are. And I kind of feel like this episode for me, I got to see Winter wake up. At least I'm assuming that's what happened, because we see Ironwood walking in the hall with Winter, and the Aesops are talking, and then Meryl's like, I don't think he's serious. He's just bluffing, and it's kind of like Elm and Vine are kind of like, oh yeah, he probably is, blah blah blah. But then Ironwood says, I want to order some drones to be on standby to drop the payload on Mantle in case they don't do what I want. And Winter's like, but why, sir? And he's like, have you not been listening to what I've been saying? I'm saying I'm going to take Mantle out to save Atlas. What's hard about this? And I think that is when Winter kind of realized this man is cray cray. Now, I don't know why she didn't figure this out when he assassinated the councilman in the hallway a few episodes back, but I guess this for her is like, mass genocide is probably a big indicator that the person you're working for is a lunatic. Crossing some lines. And to play devil's advocate, I understand that Ironwood was left in the dark about a lot of stuff. There was no transparency, but that does not excuse you for killing all of these people in Mantle. That is mass genocide. So no, I'm sorry. I ain't subscribing to that. He's nuts. And I'm glad that Winter seems to be snapping out of it. And the reason I think she is because Meryl loses his crap and like confronts Ironwood and is like basically says you're no better than Salem. And it looked like Ironwood was about to shoot him. And Winter, pretty much grabs him and throws him down. And she puts handcuffs on him. And she's like, do you want to call her? Here you go. I'll take this traitor to the brig. Because Marrow basically in his rant said that, being in Aesops now is not like something he feels like, when I wear this uniform, I don't feel prideful. I feel like I'm wearing a collar, And so I think Winter essentially saved Marrow's life. What irritated the hell out of me, though, is how the Aesops, the rest of the Aesops were so gung-ho to just go ahead and destroy all these people in Mantle. Let's destroy Mantle. Like, Elman and Vine were like making like justifications for this. Well, if it saves Atlas, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Now, Harriet, of course, from the moment Ironwood even made the plan, she was down because, Harriet's a piece of trash. So it is what it is. I'm telling you, if Penny goes to the vault like they were planning in this episode, I want them to throw Harriet in it and then close it and then leave her there and then never go to the vault ever again. Because that is literally, there's no space or place for this character in this series. I don't even care enough to invest in trying to decipher her trauma and backstory to see why she's a flaming bee. I just don't care. I just want her to go away. I'm tired of her. She's a waste of space. Stop giving her lines and get rid of Harriet. That is how passionate I am. She is the nemesis to me of this series. I dislike her more than I dislike Salem, and I really dislike Salem. So that should tell you something. Stop letting this woman talk. Don't let her open her mouth. Don't let her in the room with anybody. Just stop. So that's how I feel. My Harriet rant. You're going to get those a lot. Every time she has any type of lines, it's just what it is, guys. All right, so Meryl's being technically taken to the brig, but we do see that Crow and Robin are trying to get to the academy because Crow basically is going up there to assassinate Ironwood. Robin kind of talks him down and says, I respected, Clover, but I think that you were the better huntsman. And she does like this whole pep talk. There's a lot of pep talking going on in this series today. And that, she's kind of talking him off the ledge, basically talking him out of going and assassinating Ironwood, and try to think of a better way. And then the elevator opens and then they kind of look shocked by who's in it. At first I was like, oh, maybe Clover is alive and he's in the elevator. But then I think, nah, that's probably not what's happening. It could be, but I don't think that's what's happening. More than likely it's Winter and Marrow, because I think Winter is basically getting him out. And I'm hoping that is. I think Winter needs to be switching sides because she can't work for this crazy ass guy anymore. And then speaking of switching sides, I love the Emerald redemption continuation part of this arc. I love that she pep talked them, she was like saying, you guys are wrong. You're not the same as before, and yeah, you got your butt kicked a lot. And yeah, part of that's my fault. But this is war. You're gonna take some hits. And I'll be really mad if you guys quit while I'm switching sides. And I'm like, oh, she's finally admitting she's switching sides. So I am really excited about Emerald basically joining Team RWBY, Team Yang, Team whatever, but just being partnered with them. Because I've always felt like, yeah, she does some crazy crap. She's killed people, all really to appease Cinder. But I've always felt that she's just not had people around that act like they gave a crap about her. So she just doesn't seem to care. But we don't even know that. We really don't know how Emerald feels when she kills people. But I do really love that, Oscar is pro Emerald redemption and is making everybody give her a chance. And she's actually kind of warming up to them. Now, the true test will be when she comes across Cinder again, because she's always had this blind, irrational loyalty to this woman. So I don't know what's going to happen when they meet up again, but I'm hoping that she, stays the course and continues to get more character development and grow and just really lean into this whole redemption arc, which isn't going to happen overnight. But I am actually really excited that Emerald is going to be joining the team. So that is pretty cool. Now I felt so bad for RWBY because everybody was arguing over the best situation or how to handle the situation with Ironwood. And she's so down on herself. But when Yang goes to try and pep talk her and talking about how, taking risks is really more about having hope. RWBY just randomly says, when Yang was talking about how they took down the wolf Grim, that did you see it or did they tell you what it was? And she's like, that's pretty much what happened to Mom. And you see Yang cry. It was really messed up because it's true. It's like their mother actually was the reason that Salem realized what she could do. She realized that she didn't have to use or kill the Silver Eyes. She literally could just turn you into a Grim hybrid. That is so messed up. It's so messed up. And it was so hard to watch RWBY, talking about that. And she literally talks like she's just given up. And I get it. As somebody who has lost their mother, not to obviously a Grim or to Salem, but to a nasty disease called cancer, I get being angry and upset and then feeling like lost. And then for RWBY to realize that Salem did that to her mother. I mean, that's hard. But I do love that Yang and RWBY are back in their sisterly supporting bond, and Yang is talking her up and saying, hey, we can do this, that everything's going to work out, but we just got to take risks and keep ourselves hopeful. And then you see John running by, and of course Penny is like, I'm going to the vault. And I'm like, and I'll get to that in a minute. I mean, I have to talk about Ren and Nora. So they finally have a cute little moment. It starts off pretty tense. John is trying to boost Nora's aura to get rid of those red viney things that we have no idea how it's going to affect her health in the future, but it doesn't work. No matter how much he boosts her, he can't get rid of them. But then Ren is feeling guilty and he's like, I'm glad you're okay. And Nora just loses it. She's like, really? Basically no thanks to you. You pushed us away because you don't want to feel anything and blah, blah, blah. And so it becomes this whole thing where Ren is talking about how he feels like he's the weakest link on the team and he lets everybody down because he's such a failure. And, the team is just fractured. And then Nora's like, well, I'm the one that's a failure because I'm just the muscle and I can't do anything. I'm just dim-witted, blah, blah, blah. And they just kind of but Ren is just telling her, no, you're great and you're amazing and blah, blah, blah. And, you're all these things. And that's why I love you. And I'm like, oh, I said I love you. And then she doesn't immediately say it back. So for a minute, it almost seems like she's going to break up with him. But what actually she's saying is, I've actually loved you all this time, but I don't know who Nora is. And I need to figure out who I am before I can be a better partner for you. And then Ren uses his the new aura ability where we can see what you're feeling and really pretty. It looks like light and petals it's interesting. But he looks at her and sees that she, those petals, that she's sincere. And so he accepts that. And then they have like this little cute moment and they put their foreheads together. It's really adorable. So yay, Ren and Nora are back together. So that's cool. Now back to Penny though. Penny's virus is kicking her butt and she is gung-ho to go to the vault. And so everybody's trying to stop her, everybody's using their semblances. Everyone is trying to keep her there, even Emerald. And it's not really working. And so Nora asked RWBY to kill her. And I was like, oh, like for a minute, she's like, kill me and take the maiden powers. I'm like, what? For a minute, I really thought that's where they were going to go. But then Nora says, no, if you were fully a machine, you would not be able to resist this virus this long. It's only a part of you. And RWBY's like, yeah, that's true. So she tells John to come and boost her aura, and he does, and it works, and Penny's able to fight it off longer. But Nora does say that she's going to have to go back to the vault. And then, of course, RWBY's like, that's the one risk we haven't tried yet. So it's going to happen. And I want her to go, and I want her to accomplish whatever. But I need her to also stop off and get Harriet and throw her in the locker in there. I'm sorry, I can't let it go. And then the other part of the episode that I thought was interesting is, as the series episode is ending, we see Neo show up. Arthur overhears RWBY announcing, I guess, contacting Ironwood, saying that Penny will do it. And so now they know. And you see Cinder standing with her back to him. And then Neo comes and points her umbrella, meaning she's brought Jin. So things are about to get a lot more real. And now that Cinder's been knocked down a bunch, psychologically by Arthur in the last episode, it's going to be interesting to see who actually uses Jin. Is it going to be Cinder or is it going to be Arthur? I don't know. But yeah, there was a lot to this. Like I said, a lot of people were taking risks. I mean, you got Crow taking a risk trying to kill, Ironwood. You got Winter taking a risk, as far as I'm concerned, trying to save Marrow. Everyone's taking a risk trying to trust Emerald, because I mean, that's a big ask. They're taking a risk listening to Ozpin, because he does speak to them and tells them a little fairy tale, which basically, again, is about risk and trust. You've got like literally there's so many people that have to trust each other, like with even with Yang and RWBY having to trust that they're making the right decision. So much, guys, so much in this episode, but appropriate title. I really enjoyed this episode, minus Harriet. And I really want to know what you guys think is going to happen in the next episode, because stuff is getting real, guys. This is a very intense and very dark volume, and I actually am really enjoying it. But I want to know what you think, so please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next in their bell, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.